there, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to part 4 of this week 1 of Diddy's trial wrap-up. Whew, it's been a lot. Now this will not only be the final part for week 1, this is also going to be the last video upload for today. So I do hope that you've had an opportunity to look at part 1, 2, and 3 as well. But if not, hopefully you will get some time to do that after listening into this part here. Now, what I have to say with this is, look, what is a conversation about Diddy if not adding a moment where 50 Cent enters the chat? Well, I would say probably in most cases, and not a complete one, because yes, 50 Cent, of course, has some words that he wants to share in regards to what is currently going on right now with the Diddy trial. As you already know, if you are watching this video, that Diddy, amongst everyone in the world would know by now, that Diddy is actually just completed his first week of trial, which he is on trial for several federal charges that could end up, if found guilty on all points, could be landing himself in jail for the rest of his life. So these are serious stakes in serious times. Definitely, there has been a lot of emotional testimony that has been provided last week that included several individuals who were very key pointed individuals that we have heard, names pretty much brought up, several times over the last year or so. Now, the stars of it, and it may not be the only stars because we've got a few more weeks to go, I believe. But, we kicked off with a bang with Cassie, which is Diddy's former girlfriend, as you know, and also the one's action that really kicked off, I think, where we are at this point. That is Cassie Ventura, Cassie Fine, now, as she is married to Alex and has 2 beautiful children and 1 more on the way. So, yes, she's pregnant at 8 months. And as far as what's been shared, getting ready to have that baby any day, and probably by the first week of June, which is just really around the corner, actually. We also had Don Richard from Danity Kane, which is a former R&B group that Diddy had actually put together. And of a lot of us who were MTV watchers back in that time, you would have probably seen Making the Band, which was a very popular reality TV show. He did several seasons of that, spanning over different areas and different groups. And yes, Dawn also had dropped her own lawsuit sometime late last year, I believe. And that was pretty, earth-shattering to hear as well. And she also, too, witnessed or provided a testimony this past Friday at the trial as well. So, of course, my part 1, part 2, part 3 covers all aspects of that trial for the most part, and some additional details and more information and more specifics about those things as a kind of a nice wrap up. If you've not had an opportunity to follow the trial every single day, this hopefully will be something that will be beneficial for you to get you in the information and knowing what is somewhat going on, of course, in order to, kind of be up to speed, if you will, into the second week that we're going to be going into starting tomorrow. Trial looks to be resuming back at 8:30 a.m. on Monday, May 19th. So yeah, we're sure going to hear another riveting week of testimony. Also, in addition to Cassie and Dawn, there's also been a couple of male escorts that provided testimony as well, and some collaborative information, as well as some of the things that have already been shared by other witnesses, as well as an FBI agent who was there to speak on the way the room looked, I think at the time that they had actually apprehended Diddy, as well as possibly an individual who was part of the raid. So more information will be able to come out about this. Of course, all charges at this point are allegations until we find out at the end result what happens after all has been said and done. Stakes are high. Stakes are really, really high. We are, aware that Diddy's children also were there. I don't know if they were there for every day, but they definitely were there for at least some of the testimony. And, we also got to see his mother was there as well. In addition, Cassandra, Cassie, also had her husband there, who was there to listen to all 4 days of her trial and her witnessing. That is not her trial, but her witnessing and her testimony and her cross-examination and all of that. So it was, I'm sure, quite a lot to take in for himself, her family members who were also there, as well as those who were just listening to the court. too. It's just, really the claims and allegations are horrific, to say the least. And as I pointedly shared in part one and part two, it's like really like a horror show, quite frankly. So yeah, so definitely make sure you get a chance to pop over and take a view and watch of the part one, two, three, as well as now we're going into four. Now, part three also enters the chat of, as you can say, Justin Bieber and him speaking out, and as far as whether or not he is one of the individuals that could have been an alleged victim. He speaks out on that, as well as Aubrey O'Day, another group member who was very much, I would say, infamous, if you will, was very well known into the pop culture world, but she was also part of Danity Kane, and she's always had a lot to say about Diddy over the years. And, she speaks on about whether or not she was also going to be part of this trial and giving testimony as well. So definitely take a peek at that. And also in part three, I also cover Cassie's husband, Alex Fine, who had some parting words in regards to, his thoughts and how he felt about not only his wife and her bravery and being able to share her story and provide the testimony that she did through all grueling 4 days of it, as well as, giving the eyesight of knowing that, she wasn't broken. And he just really bestowed a lot of love on her. And, they're looking to now enter their continued life with this behind them. All said and all said. At the end of the day, don't know how all this is going to, lay out. We will weeks from now at some point here, right? But at least at this point, this is like a load off her shoulders, because she's now been able to put everything out there. It's a matter of record now, and they can move on with their family, her and Alex, the two girls they currently have, and their third one on the way. So we're wishing her many blessings in that, and safe delivery, and just, a happy life, a happy, healed life. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the levity part of this sharing, which is 50 Cent, because leave it to him to always have something to say about Diddy. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Now, this sharing is coming by way of Billboard.com, and it states, after hearing Cassie's testimony, 50 Cent says Diddy should have taken a plea deal. The G-Unit leader shared his thoughts on the last day of Cassie's testimony. Now, 50 Cent says Diddy should have taken a plea deal after hearing Cassie's gut-wrenching testimony in Puff's ongoing S-trafficking trial. On Thursday, May 15th, 50 hopped on Instagram to share some more thoughts about the ongoing criminal trial, which just wrapped its third day with the cross-examination of the disgraced mogul's ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Now, during her time on the stand, Ventura recounted horrid details about what allegedly transpired during her relationship with Diddy. Clearly, what she said swayed 50, who was shocked by some of the things he had heard. He wasn't the only one. Now, after listening to today's testimony, I think the diddler should have took the plea offer, 50 Cent wrote. The stuff, he said something else, well, that they are saying is beyond me. So what do y'all think? Now, Diddy had previously been offered a plea deal in exchange for a lesser sentence, but he turned it down shortly before jury selection. This is far from the first time 50 has shared his thoughts on the state of affairs surrounding Diddy. Most recently, the former climbed the ladder of his alleged bedroom fetishes on Tuesday during the opening day of Diddy's trial. Now, the prosecution's first witness was a male S-worker named Daniel Phillip, who claimed he was once asked to, relieve himself on Cassie. Now, 50 responded to this by uploading a picture of a fountain with the water coming out of, a statue's area, saying Diddy said, "In your mouth." Well, can't say he's never not grasped at times, huh? Smacking my head, laughing out loud, he wrote in the caption. Now, then last week, 50 Cent posted an AI-generated image of himself as one of the Diddy trial jurors. The meme was captioned, "Sean Diddy Combs' jury selection for trial is finally complete." 50 added, "I'm not sure if this is fair, but don't worry, be happy." Oof. Those cut a little bit deep, because could you only imagine if 50 Cent was actually a juror? I mean, it is what is said to be, it's supposed to be a juror of your peers, right? A jury of your peers. So he would be a peer, not the one you'd want on your case. And I'm pretty sure, as they go through the jury selection, he would have been promptly asked to no longer come back and no, he was not going to be accepted, because you only imagine. Now, I'm curious if you have been following this, epic saga as it is. I do recall 50 Cent saying that he was putting a documentary coming together. Documentary that just rolled off so many. With I've got Diddy, Diddler, and all that in one. But a documentary. And I don't know if it was called Diddy Do It or The Diddler or what it is. But anyways, it's supposed to be a Netflix compilation, if you will. And there was a bit of a bidding war, I believe, and Netflix ended up winning out. But I haven't heard anything about whether or not that documentary is going to still come out, if he's waiting until after the trial, maybe. Who knows? It felt like it was coming out imminent, because there are so many documentaries at this point, like on places like Hulu and Prime, that are that do contain different aspects of what is Diddy, right? And whether it be allegations or about who he is as a person from different perspectives, and people that have been through his life throughout the years, different incidences that have been linked to him, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of those documentaries, and I think there's quite a few of them, if I'm not thinking with me. For some reason, 5 seems to come up to mind, 4 or 5 anyways, that are out there. So maybe he felt that he wanted to clear the decks a little bit. Maybe there's some legalities that he needs to go through before this actually, continues to air on Netflix, or whether or not the deal even continues to go through is going to be the question of the day. But if you know anything or heard anything about that, feel free to let me know down below in the comment section, because I is curious, most certainly would love to know. But yeah, as I said, that this basically wraps up the first week of the information regarding week 1 of Diddy's trial. It is a long-awaited trial for many people, definitely for us who have been interested in knowing how this was going to turn out. It's been quite a shocker, and of course, the first week of testimony was one that was for the history books for sure. Definitely wishing well for all those involved, and being able to have some kind of peace and moving on from this situation, because it is most certainly one that I hope we never hear a repeat of in the future. It's unfortunate that these are the things that was going on in this so-called music industry. And who would have thought, here you want to become a star, you wanted to do music for the world, for yourself, or whatever the case may be, and this is where you somehow stray off your path and run into this kind of a situation. So, of course, all things are alleged, and Diddy, as you know, has said basically he's not guilty of any of these charges. So we will see how things, continue to shift out as the weeks go on. The defense is, mounting a defense, and the prosecution is prosecuting. So we'll have to see how things go, but we are going to be entering to week 2. So I'm going to be paying attention and following along as well throughout the week. And I'll be bringing to you another wrap up of week 2 towards the end of the week as well. For me, I think it kind of works well on this kind of way. I hope that does for you too. I know there's a lot of areas that are, doing some play by play, blow by blow, and that's great too. So, this is just kind of, another opportunity to catch up if you haven't had an opportunity to do that as well. So with that, I think I'm going to bid you adieu, because wow, this has been a doozy of a day. And I do hope that, you will enjoy the rest of your Sunday, how much is left of this day, as well as any day that you're actually hopping upon this video. But definitely leave your comments down below. Of course, as this is a sensitive nature, very triggering nature, regardless of what side you may fall on this, I definitely do in advance. Thank you for your respectful comments down below and your perspectives that you may share, and your thoughts about what you think so far for week 1. And of course, 50 Cent, 50 Cent is just being 50 Cent. So, I'm sure he may have something to share as weeks go on. And if he does and I see it, I'll definitely share that as well. So yeah, with that, I want to bid you adieu, and thank you so much for being here again. Thank you again. Please make sure that you do take a watch at those part 1, 2, and 3 as well, so you can get the full catch up, full recap review, if you will, of the first week of Diddy's trial. And again, trigger warning, so just be prepared. There is a lot of information in there, and a lot of information that is very unsettling for one to honestly, like us, to be reading and listening to. But could you only imagine going through it, right, or being a family member of someone who has? So yeah, again, all things alleged, and we'll just have to see how things go. And with that, I am going to say good night and or good day or whatever that is for you when you're watching this video. But you take care, stay safe, and be blessed. And definitely make sure you have your all notification bells on because I will be providing more videos on the platform here. So I definitely don't want you missing out. And I definitely want to know your thoughts and what you're thinking of those stories and whatever those sharings are because I love to share my thoughts. So with that being said, thank you again for being here. If you are new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and be part of the family. I would so love to have you. And for those who are already part of the family, again, thank you so very much for your continued viewing and listening support. It truly does mean a lot to me. So with that, thank you again. And until next time, bye.